In the heart of Eldermere, where the sea kissed the sky, a gentle breeze whispered secrets of the night. Have you ever felt a longing so deep it pulls at your very soul? The kind that drives you toward the edge of the horizon, where dreams and reality dance under the silvery glow of the moon. As the soft waves lapped at the shore, a sense of calm enveloped the coastal town, cradling it in a blanket of peaceful darkness. It was here, beneath the watchful gaze of the celestial body above, that an old ship, the Celestial Dream, rested at the dock, waiting for stories to be shared and memories to be rekindled. Ilara stood at the edge of the pier, her heart filled with both comfort and restlessness. The night air was cool, wrapping around her like a tender embrace, yet the weight of unfulfilled desires lingered within her. She was in her early 30s, with soft features that spoke of gentleness and introspection. Her long, dark hair flowed in the night breeze, dancing alongside the rhythm of the waves. Ilara often found solace in the moonlit nights, drawn to the ship that had once carried dreams across vast oceans. The Celestial Dream, with its weathered hull and tattered sails, was more than just a vessel to Ilara. It was a symbol of adventure, of connections long forgotten. She would often visit the ship to escape the mundane routine of her life, which felt as though it was slipping through her fingers like sand. On nights like this, when the moon was bright and the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, her heart ached for something more excitement, more connection, more meaning. As she walked closer to the ship, the soft sounds of waves lapping against the wooden posts of the dock filled her ears, blending harmoniously with distant calls of seagulls returning to their nests. The salty scent of the sea lingered in the air, invigorating, yet calming, grounding her in the moment. But tonight, there was also an unshakable feeling of loneliness wrapping around her heart, reminding her of the connections she craved but could not find. At the far end of the dock, an elderly sailor named Finn sat on a weathered crate, his sea-worn face illuminated by the moonlight. He had once captained the Celestial Dream, his laughter echoed across the waters, and his stories enchanted the townsfolk. Now, with gentle wrinkles etched into his skin, he was a keeper of tales, a guardian of the memories that the ship held close. Ilara often found herself drawn to him, hoping to catch a glimpse of the adventures he had lived, the dreams he had chased. "Ah, Ilara," Finn greeted her with a warm smile, his voice soft and melodic, like the lull of the waves. "What brings you to the dock on such a beautiful night?" She sighed, her heart heavy with unspoken words. "I don't know, Finn. I feel restless, as if something is missing. The sea calls to me, but I don't know what it wants to say." Finn nodded knowingly, his eyes sparkling with understanding. "The sea speaks to those who listen, my dear. It carries the weight of our dreams and our fears. Come, sit with me. Let us listen together." Ilara settled beside him, the wooden crate creaking softly under her weight. As they gazed at the ship, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Perhaps tonight would be different. Perhaps the moon, in all its brilliance, would illuminate the path she had been searching for. "I remember, long ago," Finn began, his voice a gentle caress against the backdrop of the night, "when this ship was filled with laughter and joy. The sails would billow in the wind, and we would chase the horizon, feeling alive with every wave we conquered." As he spoke, Ilara closed her eyes, allowing the sounds of the night to wash over her. The soft rustle of leaves, the distant calls of night creatures, and the gentle ebb and flow of the tide created a symphony of tranquility. In that moment, she felt a connection to the ship, to Finn, and to the dreams that had once danced in her heart. Yet, beneath the soothing embrace of the night, the ache of longing remained, urging her to seek something beyond the horizon of her own life. Ilara opened her eyes, gazing at the moon as it hung low in the sky, casting a soft silver glow upon the water. "Finn, Do you ever feel like time slips away from you, like the dreams you once held close fade into the distance? Finn turned to her, his expression gentle yet wise. Ah, time is a fickle friend. It has a way of slipping through our fingers if we let it, but every moment, every breath we take holds the potential for new beginnings. The sea teaches us that life is not just about the destination, but the journey we embark upon. Ilara sighed, the weight of her restlessness settling deep within her. She longed for deeper connections, not just with the ocean and the ship, but with herself. The moonlight painted vivid pictures in her mind of adventures untaken and dreams unfulfilled. The gentle waves echoed her heart's desire for something more, something that would fill the emptiness she felt inside. As the night deepened, the stars twinkled like tiny lanterns, illuminating the path to self-discovery that awaited her. The air was thick with possibility, inviting her to embrace the unknown. Ilara knew that she stood on the precipice of change, and with Finn by her side, perhaps she could finally find the courage to follow the call of the sea and the whispers of her heart. In the tranquil embrace of Eldermere, where the old ship lay cradled by the moonlight, Ilara's journey was only just beginning. As the waves continued to lap at the shore, a promise of peace and acceptance lingered in the air, waiting to be uncovered in the quiet moments of the night. In the heart of Eldermere, where the sea kissed the sky, a gentle breeze whispered secrets of the night. Have you ever felt a longing so deep it pulls at your very soul? The kind that drives you toward the edge of the horizon, where dreams and reality dance under the silvery glow of the moon? As the soft waves lapped at the shore, a sense of calm enveloped the coastal town, cradling it in a blanket of peaceful darkness. It was here, beneath the watchful gaze of the celestial body above, that an introspective woman named Ilara found her solace. On this particular evening, the moon hung low in the sky, casting a soft, silvery light upon the weathered deck of the celestial dream. The ship, with its once proud sails now furled tightly against the mast, seemed to beckon Ilara closer. She stepped onto the ship, feeling the familiar creak of the wood beneath her feet, a sound that resonated with memories long tucked away in the corners of her heart. As she leaned against the railing, the salty breeze playfully tugged at her hair, sending whispers of childhood laughter swirling around her like the tide. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to drift back in time, to a moment when her father had stood beside her, pointing toward the stars that blanketed the night sky. "Look, Ilara," he had said, his voice warm and soothing. "Each star is a story waiting to be told. And the sea holds even more." Ilara could almost hear the echoes of his words, the way he had explained the constellations and the stories behind them. She remembered how he had lifted her onto his shoulders, allowing her to feel as if she could touch the stars, and how the world had felt so immense and full of promise then. But as the years had passed, the vibrant colors of those memories began to fade, replaced by the muted tones of routine and solitude. With a sigh, she opened her eyes, gazing at the reflection of the moon dancing across the water's surface. The sea, once a symbol of adventure and possibility, now felt more like an anchor, holding her back from the dreams that still flickered faintly in her heart. A pang of loneliness washed over her, a feeling she had come to know all too well. As she stood there, lost in thought, the gentle rustling of leaves caught her attention, accompanied by the soft chirping of crickets. The world around her was alive, yet she felt adrift, as if the current of life had moved on without her. She had wandered to this ship seeking connection, but tonight it only reminded her of what she had lost, the closeness she once shared with her father, and the ambitions that had once burned brightly within her soul. Just then, a familiar voice broke through her reverie. "Ah, Ilara, my dear." Finn's voice was as weathered as the ship itself, yet it carried a warmth that felt like home. The elderly sailor appeared from the shadows, his presence a comforting balm to her restless spirit. "What brings you to the old ship on such a moonlit night?" "I come to find peace, Finn." she replied, her voice barely more than a whisper. "But sometimes I feel more lost than ever." Finn nodded, understanding reflected in his wise, deep-set eyes. The sea has a way of reflecting our innermost thoughts, doesn't it? It can be both a friend and a reminder of what we have yet to discover. Elara listened intently as Finn leaned against the railing beside her, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the sea met the sky. "Do you remember the stories I used to tell you about the voyages I took? Each journey was a lesson, an adventure that taught me about the world, and more importantly, about myself." She nodded, recalling the tales of faraway lands, of storms weathered and sunsets admired. Yet now those stories felt like distant echoes, unable to bridge the chasm of her current discontent. "I wish I could feel that sense of adventure again," she confessed, "but life seems to have swept me away into a current of monotony." Finn turned to her, his expression gentle yet firm.
"Ah, but remember, Elara, adventure does not always mean sailing the high seas. Sometimes it is about the journey within ourselves." The moonlight danced upon his silver hair, illuminating the wisdom etched into the lines of his face. "You are not alone in your feelings. Many find themselves adrift in life, searching for meaning. It is the nature of our existence." Elara felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Could it be that the adventure she longed for was not lost, but merely waiting for her to embrace it? But then doubts crept back in, wrapping around her heart like a heavy fog. What if she was too far gone, too set in her ways? What if she could never reclaim the dreams she had let slip away? Finn seemed to sense her turmoil. "Do you remember the stars your father showed you?" he asked, his voice softening. "Each one is still there, waiting for you to find them again. You have the power to create your own stories, Elara. The sea, the moon, and even this old ship, they all hold the potential for new beginnings." His words washed over her like the soft waves lapping at the hull of the ship, gentle yet insistent. She closed her eyes again, envisioning the stars twinkling above her, each one a reminder of her potential, her dreams, and the vibrant life that still awaited her. But as the night deepened, so did her fears. What if she reached for the stars only to find them out of reach? What if she took the first step and stumbled back into the shadows of her past? The ship, once a vessel of dreams, felt like a reminder of all she had left behind. "Finn," she whispered, her voice trembling, "what if I fail? What if I cannot find my way back to those dreams?" "Ah, but my dear Elara," he replied, his voice steady as the tides, "failure is simply a step toward understanding. Every sailor knows that the sea can be unpredictable. It challenges us, teaches us resilience. What matters is that you keep sailing, keep searching for your stars. You are stronger than you believe." As he spoke, the soothing sounds of the waves mingled with the gentle rustling of the wind, wrapping around her like a warm embrace. Elara felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her, a moment where her worries ebbed like the tide. Perhaps Finn was right. Perhaps the journey of self-discovery was the very adventure she sought. But even with this flicker of hope, a lingering fear remained, whispering doubts into her heart. "Finn," she whispered, her voice trembling, "what if I fail? What if I cannot find my way back to those dreams?" "Ah, but my dear Elara," he replied, his voice steady as the tides, "failure is simply a step toward understanding. Every sailor knows that the sea can be unpredictable. It challenges us, teaches us resilience. What matters is that you keep sailing, keep searching for your stars. You are stronger than you believe." As he spoke, the soothing sounds of the waves mingled with the gentle rustling of the wind, wrapping around her like a warm embrace. Ilara felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over her, a moment where her worries ebbed like the tide. Perhaps Finn was right. Perhaps the journey of self-discovery was the very adventure she sought. But even with this flicker of hope, a lingering fear remained, whispering doubts into her heart. The thought of stepping away from her comfort zone, of reaching for something unknown, filled her with trepidation. How could she unravel the threads of her life and weave them into something new? Finn seemed to sense her internal struggle. "Ilara," he said gently, "to embrace life is to accept both the light and the darkness. It is in the shadows that we often find our greatest strengths. You have the courage within you. You just need to believe it." The moon continued to cast its silvery glow over the ship, illuminating the path ahead. Ilara took a deep breath, inhaling the salty scent of the sea mixed with the sweet fragrance of blooming night jasmine nearby. The world felt alive, vibrant with possibility, and yet she remained tethered by her fears. As the night wore on, Finn shared more tales of his adventures, each story a thread weaving through the fabric of her thoughts. With every word, he painted vivid pictures of distant shores and the breathtaking beauty of the world beyond Eldermere. Each tale was a reminder that life was not simply about the destination, but the journey itself, the connections made along the way. Ilara found herself hanging on his every word, her heart swelling with longing and curiosity. The ship, once a mere relic of her past, began to transform in her mind, becoming a vessel of hope and possibility. She could feel the stirrings of her dreams awakening, slowly unfurling like petals reaching for the morning sun. But still, a shadow loomed over her heart, a reminder of the loneliness that clung to her like the mist rolling in from the sea. She glanced at Finn, who had become a lighthouse in her storm, his wisdom illuminating the path forward. "Thank you, Finn," she said softly, "for reminding me of the dreams I almost forgot." "Remember, Ilara," he replied, "the sea is vast, but so is your heart. Embrace both, and you will find your way. Let the moon guide you, for it is always there, even when the clouds obscure its light." As the night deepened, Ilara felt a shift within her. The weight of her fears began to lift, replaced by a flicker of determination. She knew the journey ahead would not be easy, but with each passing moment, she felt a spark of courage igniting within her. Before she departed the ship, she turned to Finn one last time, gratitude shining in her eyes. "I will try, Finn. I will try to find my way back to the stars." With a nod, he smiled, the lines on his face softening in the moonlight. "That is all anyone can ask of you, dear Ilara. Trust in yourself, and the universe will unfold its wonders before you." As she stepped off the ship and onto the soft sand of Eldermere, the night air wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, a gentle stirring within that reminded her that she was not alone in her journey. The sea, the moon, and the old ship would always be there, waiting to guide her back to the light. As you drift off into your own dreams tonight, remember Ilara's journey. The stars are waiting for you too. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing to our channel. Join us on this journey of exploration and discovery as we share more tales that inspire and awaken your spirit. Now let your thoughts drift away and let the night carry you to gentle dreams. In the heart of Eldermere, the night unfurled its velvety cloak, draping the coastal town in shadows softened by the glow of the full moon. Ilara stood upon the weathered dock, her gaze fixed on the celestial dream. The ship's silhouette loomed large against the silvery light, a reminder of both the adventures it once knew and the dreams she had tucked away in the corners of her heart. Tonight felt different, electric.
The air crackled with anticipation, the waves lapping rhythmically against the wooden pier as if the sea itself was whispering secrets to her. She inhaled deeply, catching the salty tang of the ocean mixed with the faint sweetness of blooming night jasmine. Memories swirled within her like leaves caught in a gentle autumn breeze, each one a fragment of a time when hope felt abundant and life was filled with promise. As she stepped aboard the ship, the creaking of the deck beneath her feet echoed the sound of her heart racing. The moonlight spilled into every corner of the vessel, illuminating its weathered timbers and casting playful shadows that danced along its hull. The air was heavy with nostalgia, but tonight it also bore the weight of her unspoken fears. "Finn?" Ilara's voice trembled slightly, cutting through the silence as she searched for the old sailor who had become a sort of guardian of her memories. It was he who had shared tales of the sea, tales that had once ignited the flickering flame of adventure within her. From the shadows, Finn emerged, his face softly illuminated like a lighthouse guiding her home. His eyes, a deep ocean blue, sparkled with the wisdom of years spent navigating both the waters and the currents of life. "Ah, Ilara," he greeted, his voice a calming balm against her restless spirit. "The moon shines brightly tonight, doesn't it?" "It does," she breathed, stepping closer. "I feel different tonight. It's as if the moon is beckoning me to remember something important." Finn nodded knowingly, leaning against the railing, his weathered hands gripping the wood as if it were a lifeline. "The sea has a way of reflecting our innermost thoughts. Tell me, what weighs on your heart?" Ilara hesitated, the words caught in her throat like fish in a net. She could feel the weight of her unfulfilled dreams pressing down on her, a reminder of the life she always wanted but had never dared to seize. "I feel lost, Finn, like I'm standing on the edge of a vast ocean, but I'm afraid to dive in." Finn's gaze softened, and he gestured for her to sit beside him on the deck. As they settled into the comforting embrace of the ship, he began to share his own stories, tales of distant shores and the thrill of the unknown. "There was a night much like this," he reminisced, "when I sailed beneath a sky bursting with stars. I stood at the helm with the wind in my hair, feeling invincible. But it wasn't the destinations that mattered, it was the journey itself." Ilara listened intently, her heart swelling with longing as Finn's words painted vibrant pictures in her mind. She could almost taste the salt of the sea spray, feel the wind tugging at her clothes, and hear the laughter of fellow sailors echoing in the night air. It was intoxicating, and yet, with each story, her sense of inadequacy deepened. "Why do I feel so disconnected from my own dreams?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's like I've lost the map that once guided me." Finn turned to face her, his expression earnest and filled with compassion. "Sometimes, Ilara, we forget that dreams can evolve. They may shift and change like the tides. It's not about finding the same path you once envisioned, but rather creating a new one. Perhaps you're holding on to a vision that no longer serves you." Her heart raced as his words sank in, and she felt a flicker of hope spark within her. But just as quickly, doubt crept in like a shadow. "What if I can't find a new path? What if I'm too late?" Finn's gaze bore into hers, unwavering. "It's never too late. Life is a canvas, and you hold the brush. You have the power to paint your own story, even if it means starting anew." As the moon bathed them in its ethereal glow, Ilara felt the weight of her fears begin to lift, if only slightly. But then, a sudden gust of wind swept through the ship, causing the rigging to clink and rattle ominously. The peaceful ambiance shifted, and a chill crept along her spine. "Finn, do you ever feel afraid?" she asked, her voice quivering. "Afraid of what lies ahead?" He paused, contemplating her question. "Fear is a natural part of life, my dear. It can either paralyze you or propel you forward. The choice is yours." Alara looked out over the water, the moonlight shimmering like 1,000 diamonds scattered across the surface. Her heart raced with emotion, and suddenly a wave of clarity washed over her. She realized that her restlessness stemmed from a deeper truth, one she had buried beneath layers of doubt and fear. "I want to embrace my dreams, Finn," she declared, her voice gaining strength. "I want to explore the depths of my creativity and find joy in the little things again." But before Finn could respond, a sudden crash echoed from the shore, jolting them both from their moment of connection. They turned to see a figure silhouetted against the moonlight, stumbling toward them. It was a man, his face obscured by shadow, but something about his stance sent a chill through Alara's heart. "Help, please," the man shouted, desperation lacing his voice. "My boat capsized. I need assistance." Finn stood, his expression shifting from calm to alert. "Stay here, Alara," he instructed firmly, moving to the edge of the ship as the man drew closer. Alara's heart raced, the tension palpable. She felt torn. Part of her wanted to stay and revel in the newfound hope she had just discovered, but another part felt compelled to help. As Finn leaned over the side, the man's face came into view, and Alara's breath caught in her throat. It was someone she recognized, a childhood friend she had lost touch with, a reminder of the life she once lived, the adventures she had forsaken. "Marcus?" she called out, her voice trembling. "Ilara!" he exclaimed, relief flooding his features. I lost my way." Finn and Alara exchanged glances, the weight of the moment settling heavily between them. "What happened?" Alara urged, stepping closer.
Marcus took a shaky breath, his eyes darting between them. "I was trying to reach the island, but the storm came out of nowhere. I thought I could brave it, but—" His voice faltered, the realization that he had risked everything weighing on him. Finn spoke up, his tone steady yet commanding. "We need to get you to safety. Ilara, grab a life vest." As Alara moved to the cabin, her mind whirled. This unexpected reunion was a twist she hadn't anticipated. Marcus had always been a source of joy in her life, but the years had taken them down different paths. Now, here he was, needing her help, the embodiment of the adventures she had once longed for. Returning with the life vest, she felt a surge of purpose. "Here, put this on," she urged, her heart racing as she helped him secure it. Finn prepared the boat for their journey back to shore, his experience guiding them as he navigated through the dark waters. Ilara and Marcus exchanged stories as they glided over the waves, the moonlight illuminating their shared laughter and memories. In that moment, Ilara realized something profound. Her life was not defined by the dreams she had lost, but rather by the connections she forged along the way. The spark of adventure she thought had faded rekindled within her, ignited by the presence of an old friend and the moon's gentle glow. As they reached the shore, Ilara felt a shift within her, a newfound clarity. The world was vast, and life was rich with possibilities. Perhaps it wasn't too late to embrace her creativity, to explore the depths of her passions. Standing on the sandy beach, she turned to Finn and Marcus, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you for reminding me of who I am," she said, her voice steady and bright. "I'm ready to paint my own story." Finn smiled, his eyes twinkling with pride. "Remember, Ilara, the journey is just beginning." As Marcus joined in, the three of them stood beneath the luminous moon, the tides of life swirling around them. In that moment, Ilara understood that every adventure begins with a single step, and with the right people by her side, she could navigate the waters of her dreams. Now, as the night deepened, Ilara felt a profound sense of peace settle over her. The old ship, the celestial dream, remained anchored in her heart, a symbol of everything she had yet to discover. And as the gentle waves lapped against the shore, she whispered a silent promise to herself, to embrace each day, to seek out new adventures, and to never lose sight of the dreams that danced in the moonlight. In the hush of the evening, as the stars twinkled above like distant lanterns, Ilara smiled softly,
ready to drift into a peaceful sleep. Now, let your thoughts drift away, and let the night carry you to gentle dreams. Elara woke to the soft glow of dawn breaking over Eldermere, the light spilling across the sky like a watercolor painting. The warmth of the sun kissed her cheeks, nudging her gently awake. She sat up on the edge of her bed, her mind a canvas splashed with colors of the night before. Memories of her evening with Finn, the stories he wove, and the encouragement he offered danced in her heart. She felt a serenity she hadn't known in years, as if the moonlight had wrapped her in a tender embrace, whispering promises of new beginnings. With each passing day, Elara found herself drawn back to the celestial dream. The ship, once a mere relic of her past, had transformed into a vessel of inspiration. As she walked along the familiar path to the dock, the gentle sound of the waves lapping against the wooden pier filled her ears like a soothing lullaby. The salty air, enriched with the scent of adventure, filled her lungs, invigorating her spirit. Finn was there, as always, tending to the ship with a careful hand. He looked up and smiled, a warm, inviting expression that brightened the morning. "Good morning, Elara. The sea seems to be calling you today," he said, his voice as comforting as the sun's rays. "I can feel it," she replied, her heart racing with a blend of excitement and determination. "I've decided to start painting again. I want to capture the beauty of the sea and the moon, just like you shared with me." Finn's eyes sparkled with joy. "Ah, the sea is a muse like no other. It has stories to tell, if only we take the time to listen." With his words echoing in her mind, Elara felt a spark ignite within her. She began to visit the ship each day, not just to speak with Finn, but to immerse herself in the world around her. She brought along her canvas, her brushes, and a palette of colors that reflected the ocean's hues. Each stroke became a dance, a celebration of the life that surrounded her. As she painted, her heart began to heal, and with it, her connection to her dreams deepened. The first painting Elara completed was of the ship itself, nestled under the moonlight, its sails catching the soft glow like a guardian of the night. The waves shimmered beneath it, mirroring the stars above. As she stood back to admire her work, she felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. This was not just a painting, it was a piece of her soul, a reflection of her journey. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, Elara blossomed. She shared her artwork with the townsfolk, inviting them to the dock to witness the magic she had created. They gathered around, sharing their own stories of the sea and the moon, of dreams lost and found. Elara's heart swelled with joy as she realized that she was not alone in her feelings of longing and restlessness. Each person she met had their own tales to tell, their own connections to the celestial beauty above. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues across the water, Elara stood by the ship, her heart full. Finn joined her, his presence a steady anchor in her newfound journey. "You've created something beautiful, Elara," he said softly, watching the townsfolk admire her work. "You've turned your longing into art, and in doing so, you've connected to the very essence of life." Tears brimmed in Elara's eyes, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of gratitude, of acceptance. "I didn't know how much I needed this," she whispered. "I've learned that my dreams were never lost. They were simply waiting for me to embrace them again." Finn nodded knowingly. Sometimes it takes the gentle whispers of the night to remind us of our own light. The moon will always guide you back to your dreams, Elara. Trust in its glow. As the stars began to twinkle above, Elara felt an overwhelming sense of peace settle within her. The ship, the sea, and the moon were no longer distant memories. They were part of her ongoing journey, a reminder that life was an ever-changing canvas waiting to be painted with new experiences. In the weeks that followed, Elara continued to explore her artistic side, capturing the beauty of Eldermere in every brushstroke. The connection she forged with the townsfolk grew deeper, and together they formed a community that celebrated creativity and shared stories under the vast night sky. Elara learned to embrace every moment, to cherish the memories of her past while forging new ones.
The restlessness that once consumed her melted away, replaced by a sense of belonging, a connection to the world around her. She realized that every sunset brought with it the promise of a new dawn, every wave a chance to start anew. As she stood on the dock one starry night, the moon reflecting upon the water like a silver pathway, Elara took a deep breath. The gentle breeze caressed her face, whispering sweet nothings of peace and acceptance. She understood now that her journey was not just about finding her dreams. It was about appreciating the beauty of the journey itself. With a heart full of joy, she turned to the viewer, as if inviting them into her world. If you ever find yourself restless or longing for connection, remember that the sea and the moon are always there, waiting for you to embrace their magic. Let your heart be your guide and trust in the beauty that surrounds you. As she took one last glance at the shimmering waves, she felt a wave of calm wash over her. Now, let your thoughts drift away and let the night carry you to gentle dreams.